Following a meeting this Saturday between the government and oil industry representatives, France's transport minister is warning that the energy crisis resulting from rolling strikes and pickets at fuel depots isn't over yet. This despite police having cleared all but one compound on Friday. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Manuel Valls is standing firm against the hardline CGT union, which has spearheaded the protest movement, sparked by controversial labour reforms. Rochelle Harrison-Pless explains.
Scrambling to find a solution to France's fuel shortage crisis. Oil industry stakeholders and representatives from the country's transport sector meet the Prime Minister in Paris. Those at the gathering struck an optimistic tone.
The situation
is improving. In some regions in France, it's almost returned to normal. In other regions, we are paying close attention, so we cannot talk about the crisis being over.
We still have 4 refineries that are running fine, contrary to what people are being told. 4 are down, 2 are at a minimum flow, but the 2 others are functioning normally.
At the heart of the row, controversial labour reforms still in Parliament and being heavily pushed by the government. As blockades and rolling strikes grip the country, the hardline CGT union says workers won't pick up tools at an oil refinery in western France until the legislation is dropped completely.
The government needs to listen. The ball is in their court. If they tell us we're going to start over, this will all stop straight away, I guarantee it.
But the French president is standing firm and says he won't let protesters suffocate the economy. Meanwhile, there are fears the unrest could impact the Euro 2016 football tournament, which kicks off in less than 2 weeks. The host country bracing itself for continued chaos amid the deadlock.
Well, for more on this, let me turn to our guest, economist and energy analyst Raphaël HOMAYOUN BOROUMAND. Hello, thank you very much for being with us.
Pleasure.
Is it already possible to cost this ongoing energy crisis and disruption?
Actually, the effect on the economy is not so strong enough because it has been only 8 days right now. But if it continues, it will have an impact on the French GDP for sure, yeah.
How much of an impact?
If we compare it to the crisis in 1995, the impact was 0.05% on the GDP. So it can be at this level, but then there would be a catch-up in the coming weeks that will erase this impact.
And both sides, as we've just heard, are digging in their heels. How long can the government hold out, do you think?
Actually, there is an escalation of tension right now. So I'm not sure that the meeting that was held today is a good solution. It may be just more a communication strategy.
That's right, because the government met here with oil bosses rather than the unions.
Yeah, exactly. And instead of doing that, they should start negotiation with the unions and be able to find a solution to the fuel crisis.
And how have consumers responded to this standoff?
Actually, we've seen a phenomenon of psychosis because the consumption was 3 to 5 times higher than the average consumption. So there is a kind of fear of shortage, but obviously there is also factually a shortage because 20% of petrol stations have total or partial disruption and 6 out of 8 gasoline refineries are blocked.
And is that a problem for the government if consumers are consuming more and perhaps eating into reserves that could actually keep the government afloat for a while?
Yeah, because the International Energy Agency, IEA, recommend to have at least 3 months of strategic storage. For France, the storage is about 115 days of consumption, but average consumption. So if consumers consume much more, then it's a very risky countdown that is triggered.
So what kind of a compromise can we try and reach here?
Actually, the situation is very tense because this labor dispute seems to be like a arm wrestling between the government and unions. But using strategic storage is an option, but usually this storage have to be used for international oil crisis, not internal labor disputes. So right now we are facing an impasse.
Thank you very much for having spoken to us,
Raphaël
HOMAYOUN BOROUMAND. Thank you.